Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz here from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I'm here to share a different topic with you today. But it's probably important as we go to begin this subject that we also remember it's the 7th of October, a time lest we forget, a time of confusion to why someone would protest in Australia about something we're not involved in. Well, there's another 100 conflicts around the world. Makes you start to think that maybe it's paid for, doesn't it? Okay, tonight, we want to say to Liat Kapuka, right now the stagey, good-looking man who's light on the fears when it comes to public speaking. To those who are in the School of Infantry, who are trying to work out the machinations of what's going to happen through their course as they go on leave, split course, to go home for Christmas. How do you get the motivation back once you go home for 6 weeks? Welcome to all for the first time. And understand this is an Australian stream, a former veteran. I'll sum it up with the introduction, I guess. Here we go.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you.
We choose truth over facts.
Never go full retard.
Come on, man.
Okay, so welcome to In the Trenches with Kaz. I hope you stay for the ride. Surround yourself with information more than music. Music can make us happy, especially when we're watching Penrith score their 4th in a row grand final. Done Penrith. Ivan Cleary, Nathan Cleary to the team, Luai, Evans, some really, really good situations last night. Cat to the teacher, to those educators. It is important that we start to front load people with information like Christian Bell is going to do tonight. And we're going to illuminate the elephant in the room with several things. I'm going to go into a video quickly now, just as you guys are coming in, so we can basically set up the foundations of what we're going to be talking about tonight. And that's the importance of ownership of citizenship, okay, of land, of something that rewards sacrifice. So let's go to the introduction, shall we? We're going. It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and we're here today to do our Monday night stream, but let's not be remiss of the elephant in the room, which is the loss of so much life. And since the 7th of October, exactly 1 year ago today, although Australians are not in Gaza or Israel as a government service, so to speak, we have people very nearby in El Gura, and it is an absolute to be their evil overlords. Now that's into Lebanon. To those that have got the proxy forces of Iran that have the world into chaos. With that, I'd say, lest we forget, to all of those Israelis who have given their lives to protect their nation rather than run away from it. So to them, salute. Tonight, we're going to be covering a very important video that was Christian Bell illuminated the fact that men in today's society own almost nothing, but are still asked to provide and everything up to their life, staying on the metaphorical Titanic to give service to a nation that alienates them, that looks down on them, that gives them the last chew of the ossobuco in the pot, but still requires the service to the nation without thanks, without reward. 2,000 years ago, 20 years service in the military to the nation guaranteed you a plot of land. Now, you're not even getting a pension. Whether it's a paramedic, whether it's a policeman, whether it's a fireman, whether it's a prison guard, whether it's a soldier, airman or sailor, there should be something somewhere in Australia, not your number one choice, not in Byron Bay, but there should be something, a plot of land that is communally created and put it into a position where like-minded people can retire in peace and speak to others that have had a similar life journey that allows them some semblance of reward and peace for the lifetime of service and soreness that they go through on the daily. When the safety net is gone, when perhaps the ladies don't see the hero inside. Okay, so we'll go on with that one. Right, there was more to go on with that, but I didn't really want it to come out. Okay, where are we? Where are we? We're having a little bit of problems here with the actual videos itself.
Talk about why
also,
men are going their own.
Okay, Christian, in a second, get a haircut, son. Okay. So we're having a little bit of difficulty with Streamlabs at the moment. They've done some updates, you know, trying to help us. Yeah, g'day, Wingnut. How you going there, mate? How you going? Where are we? What's I going to do there? Where are we? Yeah, there we go. Just to have something down the bottom. So, yeah. So, basically, guys, we need to look at that elephant in the room being the loss of life that happened this year. Oh, sorry, exactly 365 days ago, but also the confusion of those that are on the wrong side of common sense when it comes to supporting Palestine, Houthi, Lebanon, etc. You know, because I think they've got it completely arse about front. You know, there's words that we see getting thrown around, starting with Jen. You know, side, which it's clearly not. It's not targeting, you know, civilians with the solid aim of the eradication of a race. That's not occurring. G'day, Simon. How you going? We've got Ash Albanese trying to get at. Yeah, yes. D, how you going, Corporal? Wingy, just about to finish my ITs. Friday off to 3RR Townsville. He's got a support role within Old Faithful. It is amazing how much the time goes by and we actually see the flourishing of careers by people on this channel. I absolutely love the narration. We've got Mr. Buckaroony here, who's busier than what he was in his 20s. We've got Adam there. We've got Wingy. Yep. So what we're going to talk about today is Christian, who's here. Before we do so, again, also to all of those suffering in the US, as a matter of fact, to all of those around the world, let's not leave anyone out. You know, to the people that are stuck in floods, to the people that are stuck in war, to those that are stuck in famine, to those that are absolutely embedded and don't know how to get out of their marriage. There's people suffering around the world. You know, replace music with podcasts, with the consumption of information, you know, where 75% of it is probably right, you know, and you're going to have a good life. You know, the quest for information is a hobby in itself. G'day, Buck, says Simon. I hope all is well with you, sir. We're about to, g'day, Scotty. How you going, mate? We're about to see in a month from now, you know, the most important election that is going to happen in your entire life. And no matter what anyone says, if you're too young to remember, okay, what happens if the D-man gets in? Remember, he did a bloody great job last time, close to perfect, you know, but he had everyone, including Diddy, against him. How'd that pan out? We need some strength because sure as hell there's none in Australia. All these upside down smiles by those with diabetes who swear that they're our leadership when in actual fact they're our managers or overlords. That's all they seem to be. Simon, great news. Mr. Buccaneer, thanks, Simon. G'day, Mr. Buck. Hope all is well with you, sir. And Scotty. Okay. So this guy has got a great video. I saw it on Legion of Men, you know, and this is Christian Bell, and he has a channel called Wisdom Warriors. And he seems like a fairly clued on guy. He seems to care. And before we do it, what I want to show you is what it looks like when men absolutely lose their mission, their task, their purpose. It's called Kensington Avenue for those that don't know. It's the biggest open drug market in the world. This is what happens if you give in to vice, to party, if you think that legalizing drugs is a good idea. If you chase the gals instead of common sense in a future, and maybe have one too many big nights. Look at this one for a second. This is in Philadelphia. This is right now. This is not Hollywood, team. This is real. And this is happening right now. You can type in Kensington Avenue and it never changes. Absolutely out of control. You could watch it all night. G'day, Frankie. How you going, mate? You'll see the police walk through there walking over people with needles in their arms. Would you volunteer to work at that shop? No, thanks. Absolutely no, thanks.
Why a lot of men are abandoning their family.
Sorry, this seems like it's all arse about fun at the moment, team. I did about 7 or 8 recordings of this video today, including not in just a stream, but Streamlabs is so jinky. It's out of control. They asked me today, quality control, what did I think of him? And I thought, it's absolutely terrible. Other than the ability to whack your comments in like Brady Cars here. Politicians and city officials responsible for this, absolutely. We need leadership. We don't need managers. We're seeing people that work for the the NDIS scheme, getting paid double and triple that of those that serve the nation in uniforms, police, Air Force, Navy, Army, paramedics. It's out of control. Absolutely out of control. What I think of pollies, they're like school prefects, aren't they? Let's see what this guy's got to say, and I'll give you a quick understanding. Okay, where is he? Going to photos, Kaz. Okay, so he's talking about ownership matters. And he's talking about ownership of land, of property, or a voice in the actual mission. He's talking about ownership creates citizens. He talks about monarchy, political philosophy. He talks about democracy has no ownership. He talks about ownership creates strong men. That's right. If you've got no ownership within a village, how are you supposed to care about its outcome? Let's get to see what he's got to say here. And hopefully those over 50, can put great comments on what they could have done differently, on what your advice is. And those that are around 20 years old can look at this and think, holy shit, I didn't even realize I was a frog in the water that's slowly starting to boil. What can I do? Let's listen to it. See what you think and whether it makes sense to you.
Okay, team. Today I want to talk about why men are going their own way.
I know what you're thinking. Get a haircut, young fella. And that's what I thought too. But let's listen to what he's got to say. He thinks he's the skinny Thor, but let's get to it. And MG Tao means men going their own way. It's guys that completely turn their back on modern society, dating, etc. And now they're looking for finance, choosing to prevent going into something that could possibly cause the demise of their life through the court system, and avoidable pitfalls.
Why a lot of men are abandoning their families or abandoning trying to date or relationships, why community is failing and patriotism or shared social bonds are getting destroyed. It comes down to ownership. Now, I might be canceled for this video, but hear me out. If a man doesn't feel ownership in the land, in his family, in his tribe or village, he will not be inspired to accept responsibility for that thing.
And why does that matter? I'll tell you why that matters. Because only men are capable of it. I know you might not like to hear it, but females are not up to the job, never will be up to the job. They are not equal to men physically or the judgment that it takes to save the nation, to stay on the Titanic, to get the job done, to create, to manufacture, etc. Okay. The other one is that we're getting to a scary point in time where we're becoming like indoor cats. In America, they're reporting like 73% of men don't meet the standard for employment or consideration for the military. So I believe Australia wouldn't be too far behind that either. That's pretty scary when they can't even conscript you because obesity and diabetes, is preventing people from joining. That's pretty scary, especially when they talk about young people.
For instance, if I was starting a business and I wanted someone to be an A player for me, someone to be high up in the business, to be a great leader, to really help the business flourish, what would I do? I would give them a ownership role. I would give them a share of the company, right? It's the same thing in society. If you want participants, really good citizens, if you want men to overcome their lower nature and rise to truly masculine and beautiful men and leaders, you need to give them ownership, or else they're going to say fuck it. So the main impulse within most men is towards freedom. We don't want to be tied down to all of these obligations and responsibilities to our village, to the nation, to our job, to our family. Like, we just want to wander freely, right? A lot of men do. And society and cultures in the ancient world coped with this will towards freedom within men by offering them ownership, by offering them authority. And this ownership is what created citizens. And this is really important. This is what my last video is about. Bear with me if you're feeling triggered.
Okay. I love what he said then about citizens, because this is what we saw in Rome over 2,000 years ago. It was an unsaid statement. It didn't need to be that you had to be a citizen to defend the nation. So it was an actual honor to go and fight for your country, okay, for the land that you owned. It was also a requirement to serve for 20 years, as a immigrant to Rome, to become a citizen. But your family became a citizen if you were killed during your service to the nation in the military. Those that were in the military, you could be founded in new lands or within Rome itself, in plots of land, etc. All of these things were expectations with the absolute pinnacle. The pinnacle of your life was to be able to look into your hall of ancestors and be able to say, I earned citizenship, I earned my family name, I earned my right to vote. People didn't marry for love. There is no guarantee, there is no expectation of happiness. Happiness and love is a byproduct, of stability, of merit, So let's not get it too confused here, team.
Citizenship is when you own a long-term stake within a larger project, right? So let's say you're in a village, okay? And you own a piece of land in that village, and your kids are probably going to inherit that piece of land. And on top of that, you feel like you have great ownership of your family. You're more of the patriarch of your family. Therefore, how are you going to treat your family, and how are you going to treat the land? A lot of modern people would be like, oh, he's going to abuse them and all these things. It's like, no, that's the exception to the rule. The main rule would be you would try to see that whole thing flourish. A father generally wants to see the best for their kids. A father who owns the land is going to pass it down generations, wants to see the best of that land, is probably going to build it up in some way. And on top of that, you are going to want the best for your community. You're going to go and participate in governance. You're going to try to be a good citizen to your neighbors. You're going to build community and build relationships because it's meaningful to you.
Yeah, we're seeing in Australia this immigrant crisis where supposedly all of these neighbours that can't speak a lick of English, you're supposed to believe that they actually passed an English written exam of citizenship to be here. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Their vote is being paid for. I don't know why or how they managed to get here, you know. But when you've got someone that can't listen to the instructions of a fireman or a policeman or an ambulance officer or a neighbour, you know, how can you be part of the society? You know, I know that I don't fit in when I'm on holidays in another country and I'm there for a short time and I can't speak their language at all. I'm next to useless, you know. This reminds me of the movie Starship Troopers. Only people who served gain citizenship. It's the way it should be, Simon. It's the way it should be. The dangerous thing with this is it drags us closer and closer to a thing called a social credit score, which is hard to deny. If you bring nothing to the village, you absolutely should not be allowed to vote. Absolutely not. And there should be a certain age and merit that is created before your right to vote is taken seriously. In Rome, it was considered normal that to have certain badges of office, you had to have children so that you had a stake in the game. You know, it's a tough one. It is a tough one because we're seeing people that are given shit for free will never actually appreciate it. You know, and if they get a chance to vote, then they're going to vote for the side that gives them shit, not the one that is the right thing to do that looks after the village. The citizenship should and must be earned, but also maintained. How could it be earned by an immigrant? By SNP. Your dual citizenship should be SNAP. As soon as you're a year of probation, and you should be in a year of probation in this country, you know, once you're proven, okay, yep, you've got an ability to stay here, there should be no dual citizenship. That should be snapped shut. You should have to sacrifice to be in Australia and get everything that we give. You know, there should also be no land ownership to anyone from a foreign country. It should be only Australian citizens allowed to purchase land, just like it is in Thailand. That makes sense. It makes sense. There's not a housing bubble. The price of houses aren't ever going to come down because we've got 3% of Australia being replaced every single year by 500,000 new immigrants that come over here, get subsidies from the government, assistance from the government, get treated better than you by the government for their vote. So how are you ever going to catch up when they just do it so much better? Quick explanation of that one. Let us know, Kaz. Here we go. Are we doing finance wrong? Do Indians and Asians just do it so much better in Australia than what we do in Canada, in New Zealand, in America, in the UK? Should we start getting conglomerates, money groups together, starting at 19 and 20 years old, and men banding together their finances, and instead of spending so much on the bottom of a carton of VB, maybe they should be putting their money together, making these syndicates and starting to buy property together to give them any chance of getting ahead without having to buy in a low socioeconomic environment with no school choice, which puts your kids in harm's way. Yeah, interesting. I think we do money the wrong way. We try to do the whole empire individually, or then we trust someone to do it with, where potentially the entire empire comes down around us, with the courts on the system on the side of only one gender. And I'm not talking about yours, fella. I'm not talking about yours. So maybe that's a way of educating yourself in a group that ties you together forever. Over 50 years, you'd be laughing.
Because you have a long-term stake in the whole.
Okay. Hi, Kaz and everyone. Hope you're all well. Sorry I'm late. Those that don't know, Terry G made one of the cutting boards that went to one of the pilots from Top Gun. You know, thumbs up to Terry G. Well done. Contributed to the table. Yeah.
Right? When you take away the man's role at the head of the family, or you take away the man's role in terms of private land ownership, right? You take away his sense of having a long-term stake in something. Therefore, his nurturing, he doesn't feel inspired to take responsibility for it because it has less meaning for him, okay? Now, I'm not like trying to advocate for, you know, maybe outdated and roles of masculinity. I'm just a picture of human nature for people out is that When people feel like they have ownership in something, they're going to take responsibility in that thing because it has meaning for them. And let's talk about this politically and geopolitically in terms of democracy versus monarchy. Man, we're going heretical in this video, aren't we? Drop a like if you like this kind of content. So the Middle Ages saw a lot of monarchies, kingdoms, and aristocracies, right? And there's been a massive wave. The main instinct of life is to increase the feeling of power in life. And this is a very Nietzschean philosophy. And the feeling of power has...
Okay. He goes on a little bit of a tangent there about royalty versus and monarchy versus presidency, etc. But questions to you, I'd ask you, if you're in your 20s, put a thumb up now. Okay, because there's plenty of opportunities for you. You know, as long as you don't get into this, what did we say? This habit of sitting back, you know, in a 2-week system where 1 week is you live like a king while you've got your pay, and then you spend the next week like an Inuit a native on the ice, barely surviving, knowing that you get another seal in another few days, and you keep putting off having adventure, you know, living your life until it's payday again. You know, so many people are doing that. I'm seeing so many young people who are watching their lives go before their eyes, putting on weight, one frappe at a time with a bucket of KFC beside them, you know, and you just think to yourself, dude, if you don't mobilize what you have when you're young, you won't know what to do with it, and you can't start that motor again when the testosterone stops. Live your life, you know, enjoy it. Don't wait for others to catch up before you do something crazy. And one of the things I had in the video today that didn't make it to the floor today, one of the biggest recommendations, because you've got to offer someone a fix, you know, a fix to an improve, you know, or a fix is what the error is, and improve is what you do to make it better. And the improve that I would give is join the Army Reserve. Join the Army Reserve. I know that sounds like a weird statement, but the reason why I say it is it ticks off so many boxes, team. Is 40 too old? No, it's not. It's not too old. As a matter of fact, that is the age when most men lose their utility, their spark. They start to question in the mirror, do I have any worth left to the village? You know, what's next? That's also the time when most blokes choose self-harm, self-deletion. So imagine you join the Army Reserve at 41 or 21, you know, and all of a sudden all these boxes are ticked. The modern dilemma, loneliness, ticked. Every Tuesday, you're going to catch up with the lads, people you never would have normally met. Okay. Also, the next box after companionship is that now you're going to have opportunities, employment opportunities, where you can slide either sideways, upwards, okay, or diagonally downwards to something that gives you more reason to live, okay, by the people that you meet within that industry. The other one is as a side hack, that you're making money. One of our figures in this chat made $22,000 last year tax-free. $22,000 tax-free. Now, if you spent that on putting in the stock market each year, you'd be laughing, absolutely laughing, especially if you're in your 20s. You know, if you put it in and said, okay, I'm going to buy a car every 4 years, and that's what you tried to use, would that be my choice? No, but it did work. What about a family holiday? I'll do it for free, he says to his wife. Okay, prove it. Let all that money come to us for our yearly holiday. So we teach our children about history, okay, and geography, you know, and we do it as a family. Hell yeah. What about house repayments? What about actually doing that, and then your partner may not have to work, so they can stay at home? So your actual family is bringing up your children, dropping them off, picking them up from school. Army Reserve is an amazing way to give service, to give legacy, okay, to give a sense of commitment to the country. Yep, makes things possible. Right? And it's normally finds itself happening during the dead hours anyway, on Tuesday night. You can all do that every Tuesday night. 1 weekend a month, you can do that. Some jobs, most jobs, government jobs, will actually give you time off to do that. So Army Reserve actually is the improve. Do it. Why aren't you doing it? I'm 53, feeling 40. Frankie Speed. Okay, he's over at the moment in Broome, living the good life, testing water out. Great lad. He's on our Patreon. Great conversationalist, very happy man, everything positive. Love what he's doing. Okay, he's got winged up and 42 on 54 cats. I wasn't talking about you, mate. Not over the hill yet. That's right. He's restarted his engine, wing nut, and he's happy as shit. We've got Jay. The only stuff that I own outright is stuff that I have paid little for because it was not working or broken. For example, dirt bikes, I'll look for ones needing fixing, carb clean, and it's going again. So you can tell that, Jay, you don't have kids. When responsibility comes upon you and you have children, it never ends, man. It never ends. And then your net worth means a lot. But like I said before, you get two people in a row that have children, that are law-abiding, that accumulate assets and don't spend it on needless shit, then what you create is old money. And then the third generation doesn't know necessarily where their money and hardship came from, or their flourishing, or why they're going to private schools now. But it's because the two previous fathers set up the family tree, for a luxurious lifestyle that will probably get taken for granted in the future and hopefully not wasted. Medicine Man, good to have you here, my mate. Throw us some wisdom, Medicine Man. He's a smart guy.
It has nothing to do with control. It has everything to do with vitality, an increased feeling of life and expansiveness here on earth, a mastery of open space. And so the king is going to be thinking, a good king is thinking, a president is in office for 4 to 8 years. I'm going to abuse this. I'm going to pump money into the economy. I'm going to exploit. For more traditional men who are going their own way out here, is to think about the concept of ownership outside of political lines, outside of party lines. And that's the thing, is I'm not trying to subscribe to any dogma. I'm trying to think freely about how to create a flourishing humanity, right? So don't put me in any of your boxes out here. But what I am saying is that the more that man feels ownership in this life, ownership in his spiritual path, ownership of his family, ownership of his community, ownership of his life, the more responsibility he's going to take, the more empowered he's going to become as a man, and the better man he's going to become. It's so contrary to how modern man looks at this concept. We're like, oh, power corrupts, right? It's bullshit. We need ownership in order to feel inspired to overcome ourselves, to live for something larger. And the more that feminism rises, put man in his place, and the more that the world makes it harder and harder to own land, and the more that the world alienates us from shared social bonds and feeling like we have a stake in the future of our village and our tribe and our nation, we're just going to go our own way. And a lot of men are going to fall into their lowest nature, their most petty nature.
So, team, here's a question for you. If you were on the Titanic today, put in comments, yes, that you would stay on the Titanic. You would still take on your masculine role, duty, sacrifice, and stay on the Titanic, or type in no to say absolutely not. You want equal rights? You can fight for the paddle just like I will. Okay? I'm not going to let a 70-year-old woman on a boat when there's a 20-year-old man staying on the Titanic. Yes, you'd stay on the Titanic, or no, that's it, not in this lifetime. I'm getting on the life raft. My verdict is, yeah, but Frank, the water's so cold it kills you. I would stay on the Titanic myself, but I believe that anyone that chooses and volunteers to stay on the Titanic should be able to point at someone and say, but that person now has to stay as well. For every person that says, yep, I'll stay with the captain and the guy with the fiddle, okay, you should be allowed to point to someone else who reluctantly now has to stay, even if it means they get plucked back off that life raft. Mm. Little the yeses that had turned to no's very, very quickly, once they saw or felt how cold that water was. Adam says, help. William, I'd run to the bar. Frankie, I know I'd stay though. I'd go and have a sleep, I reckon. Jenny, I have good jokes that'd be useful as we sink. There you go, Jenny. You can stand beside me, mate. Go down with the ship, says Dwayne. He's had his life. Look at all the S's here. That could be because we're the kind of channel that is about givers, that is about service. Yeah. Imagine if you play this at a university. Holy shit, that'd be a shock to the system.
Because they don't have the meaning to overcome themselves for a larger project. And this is tragic. So it really comes down to ownership. A lot of people talk about this, and it sounds bad. The man should own his family. In a sense, he should. Like he should lead as a wise and loving father, take his wife's input and her wants and needs into account like any good leader would. This is a round table. But at the end of the day, you got to feel like you have authority, that you are the leader, right? That you have a say in your government, that you have a say in your family, that you have a stake in your community.
But that's on the proviso that you are providing, that you're bringing something to the table for your nation, that you're bringing either protection, sustenance, or not just law abiding. That is an absolute given that you're law abiding. The comments in this guy's video, there was one bloke who wrote in there, and I definitely bit back. He wrote, yeah, wherever I drive around, I just throw litter out the window. I don't give a shit about a country that doesn't give a shit about me. Mate, I'd take that guy on a hunting bloody party that he doesn't come back from. I'd find an accident. If you drive around throwing litter on the ground, you're a special kind of piece of shit. On the mid shave yet. That's a good point. He might be older than he looks, actually. The young guy talking should be lecturing to all the fuckers at university. Yep, totally agree. I absolutely believe in this. Faith comes by hearing. A man's job is to provide and protect. Absolutely. To his family, it's not just make America great again, not just make Australia great again, but let's make family great again. And how do we do that? We need to recreate the boundaries of where people are, what their roles are, what their responsibilities are, and stop this, what would we say, Taylor Swift version of I don't need a man. Well, guess what? I need men. I need them, not in my sex life, but I need them on a daily basis. I need assistance all the time. My back is smoked. If you saw my foot look like from the last stream, for those that don't know, I was down and out for the last bloody week, basically. My foot, I'll show you a photo for those that haven't seen it yet. Check that out. The foot closest to me is the swollen one. Check that. And guess what? The doctors can't even tell you what it is. That all started last stream. Hulk foot, I think it was Jen or someone else. It might have been Jennifer G that said it actually, or Maisie. It looked like a kid's balloon from a party. We've got a lady I didn't even know, Gruffalo foot. I like that one. There was a lady on our channel that was so modest. She hadn't even told us what her actual main job was. And she's a doctor with the Flying Doctors, crazy. Shiver me kimbers, diagnosed as cankles. Absolutely. Probably a little bit bigger than a cankle, like a moon boot. Yeah, what else has he got to say? What else is he?
A little passionate rant there out in the forest, huh? Sometimes I go off. My name's Christian. I'm trying to spread awareness about modernity
Okay, take two. So what I like about this kid, Christian, is the fact that nothing he talks about and nothing I'm talking about now benefits me other than seeing you benefited by having an adult conversation about a subject that absolutely will affect you. Absolutely. Okay, whether it be the volatility of relationships, where more than 60% of people that get married, of the few people that get married, are still facing divorces, with other 80% being asked for by the female, a lot of time without the guy's warning, with a court system that then naturally, automatically goes on their side. You get that wrong twice, you're screwed. Okay, then you've got the other side of it where it's about buying a house. The dangers of buying a house with the rates up while the prices are up, you can end up with the golden handcuffs where you can't escape. You get stuck in a postcode, unable to move, and then slowly age in that process, struggle for decades at a time. Okay, and then there's those that party too long, party too hard. And then there's those that are quite intelligent, that are 19 and 20, that are sitting on their hands thinking, well, what should I do? Understanding that the only girl that's interested in a 19-year-old is a 16-year-old because you probably have a car and can go places. So your job between 19 and 25 should be making yourself the best version of yourself, acquiring assets, information, setting yourself up for success. If you're going to go and hit the piss, all that sort of stuff, you've only got to do it once a week. Don't do it like I did 4 times a week, while still creating or carrying out a high intensity role within the 2nd Battalion, the Royal Australian Regiment, second to none. It's one of my biggest regrets. Hey, lanky warrior, 2 cartons required, 8 Ks in the hotel room for one last sleep in a good bed. I love that, mate. I love that. So that means that you're going to Kapuka tomorrow. 2 cartons are required. Whatever you do, the money that you spend, that you save, mate, do something smart with it. Create a legacy with it. Now, you guys can have it all these days. You really can. But if you don't start early and you get caught up in a habit of spending, you're going to be screwed. Absolutely screwed. Tonight was all about how do you get ahead? How can you respect a country that treats you like a second-class citizen? What do I mean by that? Whenever the football comes on, it talks about an epidemic of violence against women. You're going, well, one, that's not true. Okay, and the other one is, aren't people just there to watch the football? Why do we need a sermon? Well, at the same time, the next ad you put on is about how to bet responsibly, while also continually throwing odds and betting in our face, telling us that the government cares about us through the sickness of the last few years, while it left tobacconists open and bottle shops. Don't ever think the government is there because it cares about you. It cares about your vote, and that is it. Absolutely. We are not led by leaders. We are led by managers, and very poor managers at that. Yep, that needs to be got rid of. Sack welcome country. I don't need someone to welcome me to the country I was born in. Absolutely give that to people at the airport as they internationally come in. I love that. I absolutely love it. I do. But that's got to go. That's got to go. I'm not going to stand up while someone tells me, especially the fact that these days we see the protected class, the people that have got a special box for them on every application of every single thing, tell me welcome. No, thanks. Medicine Man. Sorry, guys, got to run. I'll be back. Watch this. Take it easy, team. Take it easy, Kaz. Medicine Man, great to have you here. Hey, faith comes by hearing. I'm Aboriginal. Welcome to country is a farce. Yep. And I've been around proud, strong, fit Aboriginals all my life, whether it be growing up and visiting Moree, whether it be in Townsville, whether it be in Nullumbai up in near the Cape. Okay. I've been around them all my life, and not one of them has ever asked me for shit. But the guys and the gals with 1% in them that make a fortune because they know how to play the system with their legal degrees as well, I don't tolerate it. Terry G, I gave up football ever since Andrew and Matthew Johns got both done with drugs and still allowed to stay in the NRL. that's why I turned on cricket, mate, because of Chris Smith and Warner. I stopped watching cricket. Guys and gals, at the end of the day, if you don't do things right, this is how you're going to end up. And there's people like this in Australia as well. I see them every single day. I see them every day, and it breaks my heart. Do I give to them still? Yes. Do I judge them? Only silently, but I still see it as a tragedy. I really do, because when I see the people in these areas, especially when they've got tattoos on, that tells me that once they had disposable income, which meant that they weren't always affected like this. They went to one party too many. They took one pill they weren't meant to take. They went to a Diddy party, and this is how it ends up. Any one of us can almost end up like this. That's the tragedy of life. Listen to the advice of those around you and ask yourself, does the person that's speaking to me get anything out of what they're asking me, or are they just trying to help me? And there's a lot of people who are just trying to help you. Meanwhile, a woman just got arrested for chopping up her husband and depositing him in multiple garbage bins. Yep, we see it all the time. All the time in Australia. It only lasts for one night. Whenever a lass takes out her children. No, we won't bring those statistics up. I thought there was a yoga at the front beach. No, it was a bunch of these kind of freaks. Yep, absolutely. You can pity them, but don't trust them. Don't ever trust them, because they won't be held accountable for what they do wrong. And sometimes people will do things wrong just so they can get somewhere to sleep, somewhere to stay. Do your best in whatever you do in life, and don't be a dick. Absolutely. If you go to Thailand, one of the beautiful things about that is you can go past some police on the back of a motorbike with a tally beer in your hand, with no helmet and a firecracker in your left hand. And as long as you're not affecting those around you, they wave to you. Hello, hello. They're not there for revenue. Yeah. So what would I say to someone that's got their father's looks and they're thinking, well, what the hell am I going to do to date when we don't swap pheromones anymore? We get onto dating apps that can charge up to $500 a month. That's right, ladies. Men can pay up to $500 a month, just so they can see the people who would have automatically actually chosen them or liked them, but it's a scam now. What I'd say to them is consider widening your horizons. Try to meet girls in the wild, communicate with them. Be careful with how you approach them. Remember, #MeToo, while believing all women, can be very dangerous. When in doubt, just go overseas. Outsource your love, do it overseas. When I get a little bit older, I'll be going to Thailand. And it's not for the girls. It's so I can be in thongs, shorts, T-shirt, have pad thai, a coffee, have my bed turned down, and just have happiness and peace. That's what I'll be doing. You guys should all come with me. Went to Thailand last year for Anzac Day, Hellfire Pass. Shed a few beers. Frankie, there you go. Oh, a few tears. Yep, I get it, man. I get it. Okay, faith comes by hearing. Dating apps and sites are feral these days. I gave up on them. Plenty of angry women on these platforms. Because I think that people get angry on them because they feel like they're being lied to. They're being duped, so to speak, with the promise of love. Yep. Leftover people looking for leftover people, looking for diamonds in the rough, so to speak. Handcrafted by Terry G. I met my wife online. We've been married now for more than 20 years. Well, I'd say when online first came out, it was probably an amazing thing, but now they've realized that they can make more money by withholding the dating information from people and then saying, pay a bit more. Okay. And then we'll show you who it was that liked you in the background. Yeah. I don't know. I don't do it. Couldn't take the rejection. But yeah, was referring to Titanic question. Hugo, if referring to me when asking measure. Okay. So, guys and gals, that was a little bit of a jump around tonight. It was meant to run a little bit better than that. Sorry, it didn't. What else we got there from Brady? These issues like Kensington Avenue are never brought up in election campaigns because both parties want this poverty and social degradation, I believe. Yep. They want a dependency on them so that they can sprinkle, the cure. They can sprinkle benefits to these people to get their vote. At the end of the day, what they're doing is pissing all over their legacy. I'd rather have someone like Donald Trump in who comes in and makes hard decisions, because that's what a leader does, not a manager. A leader makes hard decisions, at the risk of being blunt, at the risk of being racist. As long as they keep righteousness on their side, then we're good to go. 51 minutes. Thanks, Simon. Thank you, mate. What else we got? What else we got? Just with the wisdom. Can we see some comments down there from our older guys on what you would tell someone, guy or girl, 20 years old today? What's one bit of advice you'd have? One would probably be surround yourself with good people. Treat your friends like, lifelong friends as soon as you meet them. And the other one would be get a hobby, because hobbies, okay, you don't see people with hobbies with depression normally. Isn't that right, Simon? What are we? Brady, just back from another DV against women ad. Yeah. Yep. If you find a good one that puts up with your crap, never let it go and treat her right. Yeah. And you don't necessarily have to go for looks. The better looking they are, the chances are more people are competing for them, and the more likelihood you're going to have chaos in your life. Okay, Adam says, talk the truth. Yep. Okay, William Crass says you need purpose and keep motivated. And stoicism. What's stoicism mean? Stoicism means that you're in the storm, you face the storm, don't become a victim. Understand that no one promises you happiness, no one promises you health. Okay, no one promises you love. Keep your mission, push on with life, and make a difference, and keep giving back to the table. Travis Gillies, g'day, mate. How you going? That's a good name, Travis. I always think of motocross. Start contributing to your super. Yeah and no. The one thing I don't like about that is don't wait until you're fucking 67 or 87 before you can start enjoying yourself. If you don't do this shit when you're young, you're going to be fried and fucked by the time you're 50. Aware of the storm? Bingo. I love you. There's. Look at that. Look at this. Holy shit. I'll keep talking. Let's go back there for a second. Look at this. This is a first world nation. We're actually going backwards. We're watching the fall of Rome here. America is meant to be the blue ribbon nation. The Brady Bunch, the winner of every single Olympics, the red, white, and blue. Scotty, always help others. Yep, you can't change the leopard can't change the spots, can it? Jesus, that does look like it's scary. Is there anywhere in Australia like that? Mount Isa is a bit like that. That's all right, Diesel Duck. What do we got? Kaz, slightly off topic, but do you know it's almost 5 years since your first upload? Actually, it's 10 years, Diesel. Remember, my first channel got taken, and our channel is actually getting smaller, not bigger. Emily Arrell, I think being in reserves and also putting every cent in ETF funds starting at a young age ideally is something hard to go wrong with. I totally agree. I totally agree. ETFs weren't available when I was young. You put some money into those and you keep putting money into those and you're laughing. You're laughing. Thanks, Frankie. Hit the like button, you bastards, says Simon Powell. He said it with an accent. He said, you bastards. Guys and gals, I'll come back again and I'm going to say to you, like Frankie, if you can, join the Army Reserve. Because what it does, it creates something different for you. Does it have a capability? Sort of. Okay? Sort of. okay, depending on what unit you go to, the level of leadership, the amount of attendance, okay, the amount of training, etc., and resources they have. But I tell you what, it definitely rewards the person that signs up. It gives them that uniform. It gives them that mission. It gives the task and the purpose. It opens doors. It opens opportunity. It reignites the individual at the time where they're getting ready to go through a decline, can turn it into an incline. The best of you can come out. Almost everyone that we have on our channel that has joined the Army Reserve, when I communicate with them, tells me how their life changed for the better. Yep. Some of them are absolutely flourishing. What is my thoughts on Tim Waltz? Remind me. I've got so much information going through my brain at the moment. Who is this gentleman? Be kind, work hard, save your money, don't party too hard, love one another, be the best person possible. I totally agree. Be more like Kaz and listen and don't think you know it all. Well, I quite often, oh yeah, Tim, no, mate, he's a snake in the grass, Diesel. He's a snake in the grass. Brixie, at 51, I wish I had the access to the tradesmen I served under during my apprenticeship. I would learn so much more. I wish I had access to the tradesmen I serve under during my apprenticeship. Yeah. Yep. Okay, we're about to get off here now. I do believe that if everyone thought the way I did, and this is the way you should think too, if everyone thought the way you did, so that everything you do is about others, the byproduct of that is your life will be fulfilling. You will have mission, task, purpose. You'll have appreciation for what you're putting on the table. If you can't hunt anymore, I can't hunt anymore. I used to do 34 chin-ups. Now I couldn't even hang off the bar due to whatever's in this gimp wrist that I can't even twist anymore. But guys and gals, if you can't do physically anymore, if you can't provide physically anymore, but you've done your time, then you still have to be the elder that gives the information to the younger, but also give the compassion and the hand up to tell them, start surround yourself in better people, but also hold people accountable for bad actions. Don't walk past shit. Let them know when they're being a fuckhead. Maybe they're going to want to throw down, but that's only because you've embarrassed them. So leave them an off ramp as well. That's what I'd say. And remember, we've all got regrettable things we did and said in the past. We do. So let me leave this off by saying exactly right, Shiver Me Kimbers. If everyone thought about others rather than self-depression wouldn't exist. 100%. And while I'm here, I just want to finish up by saying, honestly, to all of those that lost their lives 65 days ago in Israel that sparked off the calamity we're in now, I remember you. I see you. I think about you. I pray for you. The action that met the reaction that met the action. Okay, you can't start a fight and then tell the person how it's going to end or when you've had enough. So, cooler heads prevail, but this has got a long way to go yet. Right? And don't confuse terrorist organisations with just an enemy. Completely different thing. Yeah. All right, guys, take it easy. And to those that lost their lives, lest we forget. And for your families, know that we care too. Don't go to the protest team. Don't go to them. Be better than that. You're not going to achieve shit other than ruin your own name. And don't believe the government's not watching. Thank you, Warrior. Guys, have a good one. Look after yourself and keep hammering. I will. Anyway, see you later, team. Take it easy. Mucho respecto. And I'll see you soon. And to all our Patreon members, splayed hand salute. See you later.